Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and this week is a special edition. I'm doing a challenge of candy paint on a 1/64 scale car with DieCast Resurrection. Alright, you guys recognize the Batmobile. That's the donor for the wheels, and this is a 2007 edition Mustang. You'll recognize it. I did it on the Gaslands build not too long ago, and I have a second one that was saving for this specific purpose. Deriveting and drilling and tapping is obviously the very first thing that you do. Blah, 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 blah. It was my poor attempt at a DieCast Resurrection, blah, blah, blah. So ultimately, this is a pretty decent car. I love the body shape of the Mustangs. Not happy about a plastic base, but it is what it is. You just have to be extra careful when you're drilling out the base originally, because it's easy to slip, and the minute you go off left or right, you're pretty much destroying the base. So you have to be careful. I mark my drill bit so I don't go too deep, because I have drilled through in the past. And then I tap. So people use a handle. I'm kind of old school. I like a ratchet. It's my nice snap-on, quick action ratchet with a 256 tap. And I like them, and I've never had any problems. I cut the tip of the tap off so it's flat. Makes it easier to tap for me anyways. So, usually I'll dry fit the screws to make sure that they go deep enough, and the last thing you want to do is not have to go back and re-tap. So again, being a plastic base is easy. You can just clip the little tabs, wheels pop right off. I got pretty lucky. The front wheels from the Batmobile worked really well. They're the perfect length. The back wheels, you can see there's a little bit of an issue where the axle longer than it needs to be. So to solve that problem, I'm using some K&S 1/16 brass rod. The wheels are thinner on the Batmobile than what was on the Mustang, so I'm just cutting them. I'm going to cut the shaft a little bit longer, and then what I'll do is I'll end up cutting the axle in half and then trimming the ends, just to make sure that when you push one side in, the other side doesn't push out. You just want to be careful of that, especially if you again dry fit it. If you've got to fit things 5-6 times, see how I cut it in half, then so be it. You're better off doing it 3 times than gluing something on and being pretty well screwed after the fact. So citrus strip, a wire brush, which has seen better days. I need a new one. We'll definitely clean all the paint off. This paint was tough to get off. I had to do the citrus strip twice. I don't know what they put on it back then, but it really was hard to get off, and I left it on for a while. But anyways, after it's cleaned, I like to wash it with soap and water, mineral spirits, just to get the residue off. You can see a little bit of black on the towel. It doesn't take much to really screw up the paint. So I'm going to start with a Createx base black, and I'm painting everything black, and there's a reason for that. So on that, I usually mix it with 40-12, about 5%. You really don't need too much more than that. I already had some mixed up from a previous paint job, but for the most part, it goes on really nice. It gives a nice satin finish, actually, and it acts as a primer, and it's a good base. So I'm going to paint the interior, because I wanted a black interior for this. The base I wanted black because the grill assembly is included in the rear spoiler, or I'm sorry, the front spoiler is all inclusive into the chassis. So you can see right here, it really gives a nice finish. It's not going to be a gloss by no means. It's like a satin. So step one is some metallic paint, and I've used pearl in the past, but the metallic, I wanted a little bit of a metal flake underneath this, and again, you'll see, I don't want to give away the color yet. So I'm going to mix the metallic silver the metallic gold with about 40 to 50% of the 40-30, and then I'll stir it, then add the 40-12 reducer. And I find that this worked a little bit better. Some people just dump it all in at once and then mix it up. Does it make a difference? I don't know. I like doing it. Seems to help me a little bit better, or at least makes me feel better on the inside. I need all the help I can get. But here I'm going to add about 10% of the 40-12, and then I'm going to put the cap on and I'm going to let it sit for about 5-10 minutes, which gives me time to prep everything, prep my paint area, make sure my gun's ready and all that stuff. So it works out pretty good. Just don't go right from one to the other. You'll see a van in the background. I'm also painting at the same time. I'm testing a super van I did with a K Colors chrome. So I wanted to see how it was going to look. So I'm putting the gold metallic on top of the black, and I'll put like 1 or 2 coats on the van. It's very, very thin, just to get the metal flake aspect of it. It'll have like a yellow tint, but it's certainly, I didn't put a lot on there to cover it. But the Mustang, you put a coat on. Once this stuff dries, and it dries fairly quick, I'll use my air gun to blow it off and just help dry the paint. Don't put it in front of heat. This stuff is water-based if you're using it, and the heat will actually, it'll dry the surface, but it won't dry underneath, so it'll evaporate in a weird way. So here's my second coat, and I'm putting this one on a little heavier. And on the van, I'm putting it on about as heavy as I did the first time. Again, I'm not looking for total coverage on that. I was trying something else, but got filmed at the same time. Now the yellow, or the gold metallic on the black, almost has like a pea green tint to it. I was a little concerned. I'm putting one more coat here, and it definitely is gold, but over the black, on certain light, I'm like, when I was doing it, I'm like, oh my god, this thing, it looks green. What is this? What's my final color going to look like? Over a green metallic. But it is yellow, and it is or gold. But it definitely had me worried there for a little bit. And I probably could have put a couple more coats on it. But you can see here, it's got a little bit of a green tint to it. It's not too bad, but the metallic really looks good. I love the metallics. I only purchased a couple of them. I purchased the gold and then a light blue, and I haven't used the blue yet, but the gold I really, really like. So while that's drying, I'm going to do my wheels. I pretty much put a little dab of glue on the end of the axle, and put it in the axle hole. And you can see I'm having a very hard time here. Combination of my eyesight and everything else. I probably should have turned the lights out. Probably would have been easier. Once you get it in there, just spin the wheel a little bit. Make sure the glue's not sticking the wheel to the axle. And I always push the head of the axle in to make sure it's in all the way. Sometimes they don't sit perfectly. So you just got to be careful of that. And then I'll do the other wheel. And then what I'll do is I'll end up jumping to the front. And that worked out, like I said, perfectly, because of the width of the axle was exactly what I needed. So that was awesome. And on the back, it kind of worked out because the brass tubing is about, maybe a 16th, maybe an eighth higher now, because I didn't groove out the channel, and it actually worked out really good because it gave it a nice stance. So now I'm at the point where, now it's time to lay on the paint. And I wanted a candy apple, and that was my goal. It was a true candy apple, and I've watched different videos. Some people put it over silver, some people put it over gold. Here I'm mixing the blood red candy from Createx with the 40-30. Then I'll add my 40-12. I probably used 5% of the 40-12. But you can go up 10%. It's up to you. It depends on your conditions. It was pretty dry downstairs for me. So again, I'm going to start with the van. Actually, there's a second van there multiplying. That one has no gold on it, but it has the same treatment with the K Colors chrome. So one's chrome with a little bit of a gold metal flake. The candies you got to put on really light. I didn't want to go crazy here, and I have a heavy hand, so I have to really force myself to not lay it on there and smother it the first or second pass. So I'm pretty much putting a tack coat on it. Then I'm just going to take my airbrush. Really, you just got to blow it off. It dries really, really fast. You can see almost even in this video, and you'll never get a true idea how good these look until you look at it in person. The camera's just, no matter what you do with your lighting, it's just not going to work. You can't get the full effect. So here's my second pass. I'm putting it on just a wee bit heavier. And at this stage, I'm starting to get excited because I was concerned about the pea green tint to it. And the red really just brought out the gold and the metallic. And I ended up with like a dark cherry metallic candy paint job. And even though I was kind of going for more of a candy apple, I can't be more pleased with the way it came out. And both the vans came out good too. You can definitely see a gold undertone and more of an actual candy apple than you can on the plain one. Here I'm just going to clear coat it. I'm using some Redline Shop clear coat, and I've learned to be careful with this stuff. I had a habit of putting it on too light. Over the months, I've actually gotten a little bit better on making sure it's really a nice heavy coat for the second coat. So obviously I'm going to assemble it. However, I found that the glue on the back for the rear wheels, I needed to create a little bit of a channel in the interior so it would sit flush. It was kind of sitting high and preventing the body from really snapping down, and me being able to tighten it with the two screws, or with the single screw. So here we are. I'm trying to show the best I can between a combination of some video and then some pictures following the true metallic that's lying underneath this red paint. And it's just so hard to get with a camera. Even in daylight, I tried videoing it totally unsuccessfully. But you can see really right here just how great the candies look. And pretty much whatever you put underneath is going to look awesome. So, hey, I appreciate you guys, subscribing, everybody who's commented. I appreciate it very, very much. And make sure you check out DieCast Resurrection's video, and I will catch you on the next one.